Hello, hello. Yes, good evening and welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect once again. It's a pleasure to be back. Always good to have you. For those that do join us every single day, every single night, every single morning for our routine daily broadcasts. Coming to you in the morning at 9 a.m. Yes, we are moving away from 10 between 10 and 11 to 9 a.m. Yes, that's where we're moving our broadcast from. And in any case, if we can do it earlier, we do get on at around 8:45. So be sure to get yourself tuned in and not to miss out anything, but just be sure to turn your notifications on so that you do not miss out a thing. So yeah, it's good to be back. The FIFA Club World Cup is ongoing. We'll be talking that and much more. Because yeah, of course, as expected, it has come under its fair share of criticism. Some people are bored by it, others are enjoying it. Like I said, for those of you that have always been with us, yes, Austin DJ, how are you, my brother? Good to have you. Good to have you. And it's your second time being on our broadcast. The first time you were here, we had to sort of botch it and have a do-over and restart the broadcast. Austin DJ is an Arsenal fan. So good to have you, my brother. How are you doing? Uh, are you back home or you away to your second home? Anyways, as we look to get it all started out, I wish to send my shout outs to H Games, people like Zero Rikram. Thank you so much. Those are some of our usual suspects. Jamikal, February, Ahmed Septa, Ahmad Septa from Indonesia, people like Vana, people like Yukan Tavuk, people like Peter Parker. Good to have you too. At my second home. Okay, hope everything is going on well for you, my brother. Yeah, I do. I do appreciate you sparing the moment to join us. Thank you so much, Prissing Kosi, people like Safa Ali. I just want to make to put forward those honorable mentions for some of our usual suspects, people like Amlen Okoyo, people like Mario Momoto. Thank you so much for always sparing the time to be with us every time you can afford it to be. So tonight we'll be following the events from the second half in that game between Chelsea and Los Angeles. That's what we'll be following. I can see Hassan Hassanov. Hi, Hassan Hassanov. Your name sounds, the second name sounds more like Russian. Are you from Russia? Guys, kindly like the broadcast as always. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel so that you can support what we do. But more importantly, do let me know where you're joining us from. Let's engage. Let's engage. Let it not be a one-sided conversation. Let's engage. Do let me know where you're joining us from. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Team India. You've been really supportive. I do not take that for granted. Thank you for the kind gesture. Thank you, Explorer. Thank you, Ed, Eva, Eva's Edits. Yes, among others, and all the other usual suspects are from India. I really do appreciate your love and support. Thank you so much, Team Indonesia. People from the UK, Boss Royal, Brother Austin DJ. Who is the other one? The other one was Prince something. I forget her other name. The one with Haiti, Congo, and Jamaican origins or roots, at least from that regard. But anyways, I do appreciate the love and support. So the second half is underway in that game between Chelsea and Los Angeles. I can see Chelsea have made some half-time changes from the look of things because Malo Gusto is getting on the turf, and yet in the first half we did have Rachel James and Marco Cucurella in those right and left back positions respectively. Los Angeles are looking forward to bring on Olivier Giroud, the former Arsenal and Chelsea player, looks to be ready to come on. There does put on Jazz number 9 for Los Angeles. So let's wait and see. But yeah, the second half is getting underway for that tie between the two sides. It's yet another game of the FIFA Club World Cup. Of course, in the earlier fixtures, we had Botafogo beat up against Seattle Sounders by 2-1 in the earlier fixture. That was, like I said, some of these games do come in the wee hours of the night, especially in comparison to we who are in the East African time zone. But we will try to do our best to keep, on tabs with most of these games. But I can see it was Cunha that was on target for Cunha. Jesus go on target for Botafogo, while Seattle Sounders goal was scored by Rodan. Yes, Rodan. Yes. So when you hear these names of Jesus, Cunha, majority are Brazilian names because most of these players are from Brazil. I can see F and Z as hi F and Z. How are you doing, my brother? Please like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel if you're new here. Your love and support will be really, really much appreciated. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for sparing the moment to be with us on tonight's broadcast. Who else have I missed? Giving the mention. I think I've mentioned all of them. And then I think, yes. Yes, Ego Jesus. Ego Jesus was the goal scorer. I'm trying to find the other name for Cunha in that setup for Botafogo to find out those goal scorers. Like I said, majority of these names are from South America. So yeah, it's pretty understandable when we keep hearing familiar names, although the players being different. So if you hear Cunha, do not think it's Manchester United is Matthias Cunha. Yeah, that's not really it. It's totally different. It's totally different. It's totally different. It's an entirely different person. But yeah, the second half is getting underway between these two sides. That's between Chelsea and Los Angeles. We're bound to get started for that second half. I don't know what the delay is, but players are already back on the turf. But Olivier Giroud took a bit of some time before running onto the pitch. I think the referee was also looked to be fixing something, but we are back underway. Of course, the stadium is not to full capacity. That's to be expected. Yesterday, in fact, as we were following that game between Paris Saint-Germain and Atletico de Madrid, according to online sources, the numbers were between 65 to 70,000 fans. But by the aftermath of the game, some sources were quoting as many as 85,000. Sorry, as many as 80,000 fans who attended that game at the Rose Bowl Stadium there, which is believed to be a 90,000 seater. So that is really, really a good attendance for a tournament that most people have been trying to throw a bit of shade on. I do understand it's an inaugural competition. Many people did disagree with the manner in which participants were chosen. I've seen some Arsenal fans wondering how Chelsea got here in the first place, and yet they've not been one of the best teams in the Premier League in the last 3 years. In any case, maybe Liverpool would have deserved to be here more than anyone. For Man City, I don't think anybody is in contention for that. But let's bear in mind that Chelsea are 2021 UEFA Champions League winners. And while Arsenal have been better than Chelsea in those last maybe 3 seasons, as we would want to paint that kind of picture or bring that to the forefront, let's not forget Arsenal have never won this competition. Sorry, have never been champions of Europe. But then one will also wonder, have Los Angeles ever been champions of the American version of the UEFA Champions League? Have Inter Miami been? Have Auckland City from, I think that's New Zealand. Then have Seattle Sounders and these kinds of things. So indeed, the criteria for selection was a bit contentious. That cannot be sort of done away with. But for me, I'm just like, let's let it be. That's what was chosen. FIFA had their reasons for doing the criteria that they did. However biased you may think it may have been, of course, I know many of us think that maybe Liverpool, teams like Barcelona would have done this competition a great deal being here. People do wonder why Juventus are in the competition, bearing in mind that the last time they made it to the finals of the UEFA Champions League was back in 2017, and even still then they lost to Real Madrid 4-1, and yet they are in the competition. Maybe because it's Juventus and Inter Milan that are in the competition. If we were to look to go, let's say, by championship, winning domestic leagues, because this is about maybe in a way that kind of shade, would get to see teams like Napoli, because Napoli have won it twice in the last 3 years. So maybe even AC Milan, who won in 2022, and yet Juventus have not won the Scudetto in the last 4 years. So really, the kind of criteria that was used to select the participants in a way remains a mystery to most. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So we'll be following the updates from this second half. But like I keep saying, I keep reminding you, my feed maybe a couple of seconds, behind as opposed to yours. So if I do read out an action that is undergoing on the pitch and you've already seen it, please bear with me. It's because of my low bandwidth that I tend to struggle with some of these streams. But thank you so much for the love and support for those of all of you that are following the updates on the broadcast. But I ought to mention that Chelsea are already in a 1-0 lead. That goal scored by Pedro Neto in the first half. We are into the 50th minute of the game already. It was a brilliant take of a goal. Nicolas Jackson providing the assist in that first half. And to beat, Hugo Lloris in goal, the former Tottenham Hotspur's goalkeeper and ex-French international goalkeeper, is the one between the posts for the side of Los Angeles. So yeah, that's as far as that update is concerned. Okay, let's do an update here. Make sure everything does check out, because I seem to be having a disparity between my feeds, and yeah, it's really not much different, really. Oh, wow, what a bend! What a bend that was! What a color it would have been! Robert Sanchez would have been crumbling had that been on target. He would have been crumbling to his shoulders. Quite the attempt that was. And by the way, to be fair, from what I did observe in the first half, I thought really that Los Angeles fared well. Oh, that's poor. Lost his footing a bit. Like I was saying, Chelsea haven't really been as dominant as I thought they would be in the opening stanza of the game. I thought, LA did well to sort of fit in this game. There's a player I'm trying to find out whose name is that is trying to give that Chelsea backline a bit of trouble. But Richie James and Tosin Aderabio did receive yellow cards. And when you look at some of those statistics, while Chelsea were dominant with possession and their shots on target was 3 versus 1, really, in terms of the overall context of the game, I thought Pro Gamer, hi Pro Gamer, good to have you back on the channel. I seem to remember you from a little bit while back. It's been a bit of a while since we last saw you on our broadcast, but it's always good to have you back, my brother. Thank you for the love and support. Kindly help me leave a like on this broadcast, but also do remind me where you're joining us from. Pro Game, yes. Pro Game, and in any case, in case I'm wrong about my memory about your appearances here, you can do remind me. But if you're a first timer, contrary to what my memory serves me, do not hesitate to kindly subscribe to the channel and help support what we do here on Footballtribe UG. We're coming to you live from Kampala, Uganda. That's where we are following the updates in the second half between Chelsea and Los Angeles Football Club for the FIFA Club World Cup. We've already seen some emphatic victories. Bayern Munich putting 10 past Auckland City. We've seen PSG embarrass Atletico Madrid in a 4-0 thumping. People like Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, people like Mayuru, as well as Kangli In, there are scoring from the spot kick to seal that 4-0 victory. Oh, Los Angeles are surviving here. Nicholas Jackson's header deflected out. Chelsea looking to start a short corner. Obama. There's a certain level of laziness with which Cole Palmer sort of plays his game with, and in a way you ought to appreciate it, given the kinds of numbers he's able to post in terms of goals and assists, and yet he seems to have that level of laziness. He whips in a cross, but that ball just goes begging across that 16 yards box. The stadium is half empty, really, half empty. But the tournament in itself does have a good number of sponsors. Bank of America is one of those. Coca-Cola, Hisense, Visa, Motorola. For those of you that are watching Cole Palmer don the jazz number 10, please do remember that shirt number was withdrawn from Mykhailo Mudryk and given to the England international, because Mykhailo Mudryk is currently serving the provisional ban as he continues to be under investigation for breaching anti-doping rules. So that's why Chelsea fans, you've not seen him in action in a bit. So that's predominantly the reason as to why you may have not seen him in a long while. Speaking of Chelsea, they are looking to strengthen their side in as far as their squad is concerned. Going into next season, of course, they are back in the UEFA Champions League, so that means we should expect a lot of incomings and outgoings, perhaps in the same strength. You do expect things like players like of course Dario Esogo is already joined from Las Palmas. He was signed in January. Robert Sanchez being called to action here to save Chelsea as Los Angeles continue to search for the equalizer. Oh, that's a beautiful attempt. That's a beautiful attempt. But like I was saying, in regards to Chelsea's transfer business, of course, Liam Delap is already in, and then they continue to make improvements. They continue to pursue Jamie Gittens from Borussia Dortmund and Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt among some of their transfer preferences. They've also made inquiries for Lyon youngster. I'm trying to sort of remember his name. The Lyon youngster, yes, Malik Fofana, yes, the 20-year-old Olympic Lyonnais winger is a target for Chelsea. As you know, they continue to weigh their options for the summer transfer window, and this is according to David Ornstein of the Atletico says Chelsea make verbal inquiry to Lyon regarding Malik Fofana, 20-year-old Olympic Lyonnais winger. Among multiple options Chelsea FC are considering amid Jordan Sancho exit. Nothing advanced for Belgium international, but discussions continue. And that's the Athletic are calling it after L'Equipe had broken the news. So we'll be speaking that and more, but also that is how things do stand for Chelsea on the transfer window. But still speaking, Chelsea, as far as their transfers are concerned, they also did sign Giovanni Quenda from Sporting Lisbon. That deal was completed in January for about £44 million for the 17-year-old. However, he won't be joining Chelsea until the summer of 2026 because he continues to enjoy a spell on loan at Sporting Lisbon for at least a season and a half as part of that deal. Trying to find out. Yes, it was Bounga who made that attempt, who forced Robert Sanchez into the save there as LAFC continue to search for an equalizer. As we speak, it's still 1-0 in favor of Chelsea. We're into the 59th minute of the game. We are into the 59th minute of the game. For those of you that care to know. Thank you for all those that are following the updates. Thank you. I do notice some of you keep dropping off and returning. Could be because of your internet, challenges. Sometimes we do experience them ourselves. So please do bear with us when you see a glitch there. The second half so far has been a 50-50. I thought Los Angeles Football Club have really looked good. Pretty much the way they were in the second half. In the first half. They tried to get on the ball. They really know how to. They're quite passy, really. They've managed to penetrate this Chelsea backline a couple of times. That was a poor layoff for Olivier Giroud. Poor layoff. Noni Madueke has not yet had the impact that you would hope he would be having in this kind of game. He's still fallen short in his attempts, but you do hope he goes into the game. It's Pedro Neto that has really been at it for this Chelsea side, who really started by the start of the game with a very strong starting 11. When you look at things, because they did start with Robert Sanchez and Roche James, Tosin Aderabio, Levi Colwill, and Marco Cucurella, while Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia did start in that double pivot, and ahead of them was Cole Palmer as the playmaker, and then of course and then Pedro Neto, Nicolas Jackson, and Noni Madueke in that front three. On the side of Los Angeles, they did start with Hugo Lloris in goal. They do have a Long, they do have Palencia, they do have a Segura, they do have Hollingshead, they do have Jesus, Jesus, they have Tilleman, they have Delgado, they do have Odaz, Ebobise, and Bounga. That's for LA Football Club. Enzo Fernandez bringing in the corner here, floats it high, who gets the head on it. Nicolas Jackson, Malo Gusto crosses it back. Hugo Lloris is arrived to the challenge. So 63 minutes gone by on the clock, and it is still 1-0 in favor of Chelsea. That goal scored by Pedro Neto, with Nicolas Jackson providing the assist in as far as this game is concerned. Cole Palmer goes on the run. Couldn't find his way through as LA cleared their area. Chelsea making some more changes. Liam Delap is getting on, as well as Tariq George. They are the two players coming on. And Noni Madueke is paving way. And who else? And Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson and Noni Madueke are paving way for Tariq George and Liam Delap. Liam Delap getting his Chelsea debut in this game against LA. I remember Liam Delap was signed from Ipswich Town just this summer for £30 million as Chelsea activated his release clause from Ipswich Town. That's the former Man City Academy player, Liam Delap. Only 22 years of age. To be in this tournament, he had to snap a call from the England under-21 team that are playing in the Euros. That squad that has the likes of Ethan Nwaneri in that side, really. Kukorea. I like the way Kukorea inverts into the midfield. Liam Delap is known for his strength and a bit of a bullish side when he's taking on defenders. He does quite have the body and the mass for it. He's really built for it. Surprisingly for me, it's Enzo Fernandez wearing the Chelsea armband. He only joined Chelsea in January 2023. That also partly speaks about Chelsea in a nutshell. When you look at their leadership group, when you look at the composition of their leadership group, sometimes I felt they really lack the strong leaders that they do need in that game. Los Angeles couldn't make it count. They couldn't make that opportunity count, really. Olivier Giroud has hardly had some bit of action ever since he came on. Chelsea scrambling, got a bit scrambling. Made the early run, the pass was insufficient to Olivier Giroud. They really need to find a way. Now Chelsea go on the break. Cole Palmer and Liam Delap are both ex-Manchester City Academy graduates. So, by the way, in recent times, Manchester City really have a lot of good talent out there as a product of the academy. The likes of Jadon Sancho is one of those that have been at the Manchester City Academy. Bonga. Yes, we are into the 68th minute of the game. 68th minute of the game, but Tosin Adrabio had to cut out that attempted pass to Olivier Giroud to make sure that Los Angeles FC do not find an equalizer in this game. On Wednesday, Real Madrid will be up in action against Al Hilal. That game will come at 10:45 sorry, at 10 p.m. East African time. We'll try to follow those updates as well and see how Xabi Alonso gets on as the new head coach for Real Madrid. We are under 20 minutes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Liam Delap played the cutback to Enzo Fernandez, but Enzo Fernandez couldn't make the opportunity count as Los Angeles really defended well. It was a great run from Liam Delap, Cole Palmer, finding him with a clinical pass really. You've got to give the defender quite some credit for applying the pressure on Liam Delap to make sure that he doesn't get the desired footing on the ground to find a way through. But brilliant piece of defending there from Los Angeles to make sure it is still 1-0. To make sure it is still 1-0. Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Cole Palmer. He blazes it over the bar. Cole Palmer should be doing much better in that area. He should be doing much better than that. Quite disappointing. An attempt that was. He gets a good pass from Pedro Neto, plays him in, takes good control with his first touch, but it goes for power over, over finesse. Guys, please like the broadcast. Please like the broadcast. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel and help us support what we do. But we are following the updates from that game between Chelsea and Los Angeles Football Club in the FIFA Club World Cup. We're into the 71st minute of the game with Chelsea in a 1-0 lead. That goal scored in the first half by none other than Pedro Neto. I can see we do have a comment, submission. And Dry C says hi. Hi, Dry C. How are you doing, my brother? I thank you for joining us on this broadcast. Where are you joining us from? Please let us know where you're joining us from. But it's a pleasure to have you. So if you do us the absolute honor of subscribing to the channel, but also pressing a like on that broadcast, you would have done us a great favor. But thank you for joining us there. Dry C. Dry C. In Uganda, we do have us a guy called Dry T. Are you related by any chance? I'm assuming not even remotely. Meanwhile, there's a new invention at this FIFA Club World Cup, is what they are calling the referee's webcam. The referee has a camera somewhere attached to him, I think around his chest, that gives us a different view. Robert Sanchez sends scrambling. That was a beautiful attempt from Los Angeles, and it was a couple of inches over the bar. Brilliant strike. Anyways, brilliant strike. I was telling you the referee is wearing a camera, or what they are calling a webcam of some sort, to give us a different angle of view. I think this is something that FIFA is looking to add to the game, especially, oftentimes it has always come in contention of how the referee's view was skewed and things of that nature. Now, these webcams will be providing us the angles within which the referees were standing prior to the commission of certain fouls, prior to certain incidences, and whether we think the referees might have seen them and ignored them, or they were far from them, and things of that nature, really. Moises Caicedo is on the floor, seems to be a bit injured. Marco Cucurella seems to be in some bit of pain. Looks like he's had a knock, but oh, actually, Cucurella sleeps. But let's hope he's okay. And let's hope they are both okay, Cucurella and Moises Caicedo. They didn't need any treatment, so they'll be good. They will be good. We're left with a quarter an hour to the 90th minute, and Chelsea still lead by a goal to nil. Olivier Giroud has hardly had the kick in this game ever since he came on. They've yet to find him with that fine pass, but he's one of those players that do not need so many chances to punish you. Oftentimes, play him in, and he's good with his head. Can take on a player, every once in a while in a dribble and get the better of a defender. Okoye is found guilty, so he's given a yellow card. He did collide with Martinez in that midfield. Martinez, the Venezuelan winger, playing for Los Angeles. Yeah, really. Okay, Hugo Rollis. Just have really tried to push forward. Oh, Liam Delap with a chance. Couldn't get the better of the two defenders. Ends up fouling one. In his attempt to win the ball back quickly inside that 18 yards box, he ended up committing a foul. That's Liam Delap. Olivier Giroud should be doing more for a player of his experience. Maybe he no longer has the energy and the athleticism, but he should be doing more to get on the ball, to get onto the ball, really. I like how Los Angeles are playing. They've not really tried to kick the ball, so much over the top. They've really tried to be passy, to try and get that good final pass, even though in numerous occasions, they failed to reach that final third and play that final pass. But at least they've been confident within their own game plan. They've been confident to pass the ball around across the midfield. And indeed, Enzo Maresca will be a bit. That was a beautiful cross. That was a beautiful cross. But Chelsea, good defending. It's not yet over. Ooh. Ooh. Jesus Christ. Buanga there couldn't get it on target, although he's believed to have been in an offside position. But what a move this was from Los Angeles FC. Really interesting. Oh, Levi Colwill did clear his lines, but not sufficiently enough. Chelsea sort of caught a bit napping in there. Out of the few games I've watched, and this is my third game or second game. Yeah, I think it's my second game of the tournament, but I think I've really been pleased. No, it's actually my third game. I did watch that game between Bayern Munich and Auckland City, and then between PSG and Atletico Madrid, and then, between Chelsea and Los Angeles. And I must say that out of all the underdogs that I've so far watched in the tournament, Los Angeles Football Club have really impressed me the most. They've really looked quite impressive, so much. That second goal continues to elude Chelsea. Palmer with a good pass for Billup with a cross, and it's a goal. Finally, Enzo Fernandez gets the second goal for Chelsea. Finally, at last, Enzo Fernandez in the 80th minute. Liam Delap with the assist there. Chelsea 2, Los Angeles 0. Good move, brilliant move. Cole Palmer with a cool pass to find Liam Delap. Liam Delap with a sumptuous cross into the area. Los Angeles couldn't really defend, and Enzo Fernandez quite the control. And then with his second touch, he puts the ball into the back of the net, beyond the reach of Hugo Lloris. There, 2-0 for Chelsea. He continues with his impressive life at Chelsea as we go into the water break. It may have taken him a while to settle in, but if last season is anything to go by, I thought he really do well. That's Enzo Fernandez for us. I thought after having sort of a troubling start to his life at Chelsea, I thought last season was quite really impressive. Let's see if we can. For example, that was last season. What's up, champ? That's Peter Parker. Hi, Peter Parker. Good to have you back on the broadcast. Oh, Robert Sanchez forced into a save as Los Angeles Football Club tried to find the consolation in the game. But hi, Peter Parker. Good to have you, my brother. Always a pleasure to have you back on the channel. Thank you for sparing the moment to join us this evening. We are following updates in that game between Chelsea and Los Angeles at the FIFA Club World Cup. So what's about the 10-0? Well, that for me was really to be expected for Bayern Munich to beat up against Auckland City, because we're talking about a semi-professional side in Auckland City whose goalkeeper, works for a pharmaceutical company. So you're talking about players. When we talk about semi-profession, we're talking about players whose participation in the sport or in the game is not their full-time job, the way you have these players from all these gigantic teams and across the top European clubs and etc. So they're semi-professional. That means players go and do their other jobs, and then when it's time for a game, they're called, they do prepare, and then they play the game and things of that nature. So for me, it was really I sort of expected that Auckland City would get beat. And I remember while following the updates in the first half, I did make the judgment quickly that I could see a 10-goal thriller in this one. And indeed, Jamal Musiala came with quite a brilliant performance in the second half to score a second half hat-trick. Michael Olise, Kingsley Coman, and Thomas Muller picking a brace each on the day, while Bowie was the other one who did score to complete that 10-goal thriller for Bayern Munich against Auckland City. You say Harry couldn't even score a single goal. To be honest, I was equally surprised, but also it took me back to sort of a conversation as following in regards to how his play has shifted. And this was speaking to the fact that Bayern Munich have apparently entered the race to sign Ugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt, according to some sources, as they do see him as a longer-term replacement for Harry Kane. Because in fact, some reports do say that he can't play in the same team with Harry Kane, because the way Harry Kane plays these days is he drops so far back in midfield. He is doing that bit of a long drop back, more like a traditional number 10, and that's why people think that Dario Esugo and Christopher Nkuku have come on for Cole Palmer and Moises Caicedo. Dario Esugo, that's the holding midfielder that Chelsea did sign from Las Palmas in January for about £18.4 million, although he stayed there on loan until the end of the season and is just joined Chelsea. So that's the player, Dario Esugo. So going back to FC Bayern Munich, there's some belief that Ugo Ekitike can both learn from Harry Kane with all his experience, but they can equally play in the same team, given that Harry Kane these days drops so far back deep to play more like a number 10 as opposed to being just a waiting fox in the box, as we sort of had been accustomed to him in some sort of play for a better part of his career. So he seems to have shifted in play. But let's wait and see if those reports have any truth to them in regards to Bayern Munich's pursuit for Ugo Ekitike, who is the main target for Manchester United, Liverpool, and Chelsea in as far as their strikers' pursuits do go. But also, I do understand that Bayern Munich are prioritizing the signing of a left winger and Bradley Barcola, Nico Williams, who is giving priority to Barcelona, as well as Rafael Leao and Kaoru Mitoma and Cody Gakpo among the other names on Bayern Munich's shortlist for a Leroy Sané replacement. The expectation is that Kingsley Coman will equally leave the club at the end of the season, so far unless that changes. You do say, Peter Parker, you ask, is it true that Bayern coach will leave after the Club World Cup? I have zero idea about that, but it is nowhere remotely near my expectation. I do not think that Vincent Kompany will be leaving the club. I mean, he's had quite an impressive season. He guided them back to the triumph of the German Bundesliga this morning by Leverkusen, who ended up finishing in second place. So, by all accounts and measures, yes, they did crash out of the UEFA Champions League at the quarterfinals when they lost 4-3 on aggregate to Inter Milan, having lost the first leg by 2-1 and managed a 2-all draw at the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium. Tariq George going on the run here, finds Neto. Pedro Neto tried to find Christopher Nkuku at the far post, but he couldn't find him. So the game remains at 2-0 in favor of Chelsea. We are into the 87th minute of the game. There goes by Pedro Neto, and of course the other goal being scored by Enzo Fernandez do give Chelsea the advantage. So Peter Parker, to be honest with you, I have zero expectation that Vincent Kompany will be leaving Bayern Munich at the end of the season, while they could only reach the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. I do not think that their overall season performance was horrendous enough to cause any form of alarm for Bayern Munich to take that kind of action. I think he still has some time at Bayern Munich, and I do think he will continue to improve with that Bayern Munich side. They've signed a good number of youngsters, but they also do blend experience. Because when you look at the likes of Michael Olise, about 23 years of age, you look at players like Jamal Musiala, what is 2022 around there. So those are really young players. Pavlovic, Alex, in that midfield, of course, getting to learn from the likes of Joshua Kimmich, Leon Goretzka. Those are the ones blending experience, and Manuel Neuer and things of that nature. Really, So, but again, they brought in Jonathan Tah, a 29-year-old German defender from Bayer Leverkusen. So he was with them. And they are, when you look at their primary targets for the wingers, again, they are looking at players under the age of 24. When you look at Bradley Bakola, 22 years of age, Nico Williams, 22 years of age. Of course, Kaoru Mitoma is 28 years of age. Rafael Yao is 25 years of age. Cody Gakpo, about 26, is it? Or they're about, or 25. I stand to be corrected on that factually. But yeah, that's the profile. After a few matches, I think FIFA Club World Cup will be UEFA Champions League. Then hey everyone, happy Monday. That's Danny Berry Sports Highlights. Hi Danny Berry Sports Highlights. Good to have you on the broadcast. Please consider liking the broadcast, but also subscribing to the channel, seeing that you are new on our forum here. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for the love and support. So, going back to Peter Parker's comment that after a few matches, I think the FIFA Club World Cup will be UEFA Champions League. Again, I do not want to really disagree with you on that, because my expectation is that personally is that while the tournament in itself has received a fair share of criticism, the tournament will grow on us, or we will grow to love it as it advances, especially post the group stages, where we think all the teams that we are calling the underdogs, which they are in majority, all the teams that we think are weaker, the expectation is that they will have dropped off, and we expect to see more numbers of fans in stadiums, especially at the round of 16. But even at the group stages, when teams like Real Madrid are playing, I do expect reasonable numbers in the stadium. I was speaking about yesterday's game between Atletico Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain, which PSG won by 4-0. You had, according to different sources, anywhere between 65 to 80,000 fans filling the Rose Bowl Stadium there in Pasadena. So I do agree with you that as we do advance in the tournament, yeah, we're going to be looking at a UEFA Champions League kind of tournament. And given that there are 32, it's a reminder of the sort of now the old UEFA Champions League that we did leave behind after the 2024 season. So yeah, 32 teams, 8 groups. Top 2 will advance to the round of 16, and then we'll go for the knockouts, which I do think will continue to go from there. You say hats off to Miami goalkeeper and Al Ahly goalkeeper. Yeah, Mohamed El Shanawi, that's the goalkeeper, I think, for Al Ahly, was quite impressive in the second half. But the Al Ahly goalkeeper really had to the Inter Miami goalkeeper really did tremendously well in that first half. It was a game of 2 halves, to be honest. I didn't get to watch the game in entirety, but I managed to catch the highlights. And from the good look of things, it was a game of 2 halves where, Al Ahly had the better chances in the first half, including a penalty that was was saved because it was Mohamed Trezeguet, the former Aston Villa player. For those of you that do remember Aston Villa, when they had just regained promotion back to the Premier League, I think they were under the charges of Dean Smith at the time. That's when they got to sign players like Mohamed Trezeguet, who we had watched at what tournament was it? Was it at the World Cup 2018 in Russia? I think so. That's where he had really looked impressive, and he got to be signed by was it 2018, or I think actually it was the AFCON, Africa Cup of Nations 2019, that Egypt hosted. Egypt hosted that tournament, and Uganda were part of that tournament. So he really was impressive. You say why Dembele didn't play the first match? Dembele did suffer an injury. For those of you that do remember, he was in the first squad for the UEFA Nations League, and he played in that game against between France and Spain when France were knocked out or were beaten 5-4. But then he got injured in training and missed the third place playoff between France and Germany, which France won, by the way, by 2-0. Kylian Mbappe and Michael Olise are scoring there to beat Germany in the third place playoff of the UEFA Nations League. So he's out through injury. That's why he didn't get to feature in that game. But yeah, I certainly do agree with you that both goalkeepers for Inter Miami and Al Ahly really deserved their flowers in that opening fixture of the FIFA Club World Cup. Once again, apologies, guys. I did mix up the timelines for the kickoffs for those games. I misread the hours. It's game start at 1 a.m. Wow. Pedro Neto hits the crossbar. We're into the 94th minute. Actually, it's game over. Game over. Full-time score. Chelsea to 0. Los Angeles Football Club. Quite the ideal start for for Chelsea. Goals by Pedro Neto. Brilliant goal, and then Enzo Fernandez with Nicholas Jackson, and of course the new signing, that's Liam Delap, providing the assists for those 2 goals. Really quite impressive, I must say. So yeah, that for me is my submission on that. Then you do say, tell me some updates about transfers of players. Yes, we're going to get into that conversation. Really, that's our next topic before we close out tonight's broadcast. Of course, in regards of transfers, so much really going around, but I think I'll start with the hottest type of news or topic in regards to the transfers, and that is to do with Nico Williams. Nico Williams has given preference to Barcelona and everybody interested in his services. That includes Bayern Munich, includes Arsenal, includes Chelsea. They are all well informed about the player's priority, that he is indeed giving priority to Barcelona if they can't find a deal. Now, the challenge with Barcelona is, again, it has everything to do with their finances, which then means how they get to register players. If they can't even register players, you all remember last season, I think they had challenges, I think, with registering Dani Olmo. Now, La Liga has so many, not so many, but it has some restrictions around, wages and things of that nature. So usually Barcelona tend to struggle in player registration because of their finances and things of that nature. So they have to assess, one, whether they can afford to pay the release clause, believed to be in the region of 58 to 60 million euros. And then if they can pay that, then are they able to register the player? Because signing the player is one thing, and then registering him to participate is entirely another. And this was according to Sky German, who said Barcelona currently have the best chances in the race for Nico Williams ahead of Bayern Munich, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Important new negotiations have taken place over the past 24 hours. Joan Laporta, that's the Barcelona president, is now assessing whether a transfer is feasible and if Williams can be registered. If Barcelona gets a green light, the move is expected to go ahead. Hans Flick is determined to sign Williams. Bayern Munich have been informed and are now waiting to see if Barcelona can complete the transfer. Now, of course, I've had some reports that that Arsenal are still feel confident that they can get a deal for Nico Williams, and apparently they are willing to offer him wages in the region of 9 million euros as net pay per season. Personally, I'm taking those rumors with a grain of salt, really, because I think they are well informed. First of all, his wages have always been a sticking point for most of his suitors, and even in agreeing or giving Barcelona sort of the priority is simply because Barcelona is his dream team. That's why he wants to play football. His buddies with Lamine Yamal, and in the wake of those reports, sufficing that his agent, they had made contact with Barcelona, had different meetings, despite having 2 earlier meetings with Bayern Munich, in which they had given Bayern Munich sort of the signal that the player was open to making the switch to Bayern Munich or to the Allianz Arena. Once Barcelona came back into the conversation, really those tables stand, and I pretty much said that once Barcelona came back into the conversation for Nico Williams, then it was bound to be one-way traffic. So Why? Because the players, first of all, he would rather stay in Spain as opposed to going away from Spain and to play from abroad. Two, Barcelona is a dream, sort of would be a dream move for him. So really, he would love to get that. And if he can get that, then I mean, why bother going away? And then if you can go ahead and play with your buddies, your Spanish national teammates, the likes of Fermin Lopez, the likes of Dani Olmo, the likes of Lamine Yamal, you know, and all Pau Kubasli, Gavi and Pedro and all those other players that you do have in the composition of the Spanish national team. So really, that's why I do think it is true that Barcelona do have the edge. And I did say that it was a 55% chance in favor of Barcelona. Actually, I said if it was on a scale of 10, Barcelona had 6 out of 10. Bayern Munich had about 2.5 out of 10, and then Arsenal had about 1.5 a chance of signing Nico Williams. And now here we are being told that indeed his preference is with Barcelona, including the fact that he is willing to sort of take a lesser pay as opposed to what he is currently on at Athletic Bilbao. But while all that is also ongoing, Athletic Bilbao are preparing to hand the player a new contract with improved wages, and of course that means hiking further his release clause, which is believed to be around the region of 58 to about 60 million euros. So let's again wait and see how that transpires. As that was ongoing, then Bayern Munich have expressed interest in signing Fermin Lopez from Barcelona, although the 22-year-old would prefer to stay at Barcelona, but Fermin Lopez is yet a target for Bayern Munich. Not the first time I'm hearing his name in the transfer speculation, Fermin Lopez, but let's wait and see, because sometimes players would prefer to stay at the clubs at which they are, and then yet those clubs prefer that it's time to move them on. We've seen that over the years with different clubs. We've seen it with Real Madrid when they were letting go Mesut Ozil. In 2013, we saw it. I think the subsequent year or two. I think that was after 2014. I think around 2015, maybe when they let go of Angelo Di Maria, so much to the anguish of Cristiano Ronaldo, that they were losing some of their best players, losing Mesut Ozil, and the subsequent season losing, losing Angelo Di Maria, and then of course you remember they did lose Gonzalo Higuain to Napoli. So I mean, they did want to stay at Real Madrid, but the club chose to move them on. So those things do happen, that players would prefer to stay at a particular club, but if the club decides that they should go, then they ought to go. So let's wait and see what decisions Barcelona do make in regards to Fermin Lopez. And I think Ferran Torres is one of the other players that was wanted away. Como were interested in Barcelona's Eric Garcia, the former Manchester City defender. So, but I do understand that Barcelona were due to give him a new contract to have him stay amid strong interest from Como, who are under the charges of Francesco Sola Fabregas. Then AC Milan have held initial talks over the possibility of signing Granit Xhaka. So they are interested in signing the Switzerland international, the ex-Arsenal player, the ex-Borussia Mönchengladbach player, to taking him to Milan. That notwithstanding their interest in Luka Modric, it's a totally independent deal away from Luka Modric. They still want to sign Luka Modric in the aftermath of the FIFA Club World Cup and put him on a one-year contract with an option to extend it for a further year. That's Luka Modric, but they also want to sign Granit Xhaka from Bayer Leverkusen. Now, it looks like Bayer Leverkusen are bound to lose so many players because they have already lost Jonathan Tah to Bayern Munich. They've lost, of course, his contract did run out, or was running out at the end of June, although Bayern Munich had to pay Bayer Leverkusen a fee of about 850,000 euros to have Jonathan Tah be let out of his contract early enough to be part of their squad for the FIFA Club World Cup. Then they did lose Jeremy Frimpong to Liverpool. That's the right back. Then now we're talking about they are going to lose Florian Wirtz. We do know his medical is scheduled for later this week, probably on Thursday, to complete that 136 million euro deal, rising to up to 150 million euros according to Sky Germany. So part of that being that 100 million pounds is what is guaranteed in guaranteed transfer fees, with 16 million pounds in expected add-ons. Although, like I said, Sky Germany do report that those add-ons over time could rise up to 150 million euros. So then, if they do lose Granit Xhaka, that means that will be their fourth player to lose in the window. I do not know what is happening with their goalkeeping situation, but they've already signed Mark Flecken from the Premier League, from Brentford. The 31-year-old has already joined them. So it looks like so many changes are happening. You're losing so many players, but also they have already lost. We all know they lost their manager in Xabi Alonso, who joined Real Madrid, and have since replaced him with Eric Ten Hag. So it looks like so many changes are going to happen for Bayer Leverkusen. And I usually suspect that when there are too many changes, a team is bound to suffer. So let's wait and see how things do transpire in that regard. And then Leeds United have agreed a deal to sign Jack Bijol from Udinese. For the agreement is for about 22 million euros for the transfer of the defender to join Leeds United. And then Chelsea have made inquiries about Malik Fofana. That's the 20-year-old Belgian winger who they see as a possible replacement for Jordan Sancho. So yeah, they've made inquiries, although no formal bids have gone in for Malik Fofana from Olympique Lyonnais in some of those reports. Then we've spoken about Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz, again, who is expected in the UK later this week to complete his medicals. Then Galatasaray are really serious in their pursuit for Hakan Çalhanoğlu from Inter Milan. Yeah, they are really pursuing him alongside extending their pursuit for Ilkay Gundogan from Manchester City. The 34-year-old German international has attracted interest from Galatasaray, who have already signed Leroy Sané from Bayern Munich. So then Real Madrid are targeting Ibrahim Konate when his contract does run out at the end of next season. That's in June 2026. I do know that Liverpool did initiate contract renewal talks with Ibrahim Konate, although he had yet to agree to terms. Then this is according to The Sun. Manchester City and England defender Kyle Walker, 35 years of age, has agreed to join Everton on a one-year deal. That's according to The Sun. I do know that Fenerbahce in Turkey are interested in the services of Kyle Walker as well. Then Brentford and Cameroon forward Brian Mbeumo is leaning towards a move to Manchester United over Tottenham Hotspur, despite his former manager Thomas Frank joining making the switch from West London to North London. So again, that's something we've spoken about before here. Although the move for Thomas Frank from Brentford to join Tottenham Hotspur as the new head coach, I thought did tilt the scales in regards to this transfer pursuit. According to Sky Sports News, they say that the player does still fancy a move to Manchester United. Speaking of Manchester United, it is being reported that Andre Onana is being crucial in convincing his fellow countryman Brian Mbeumo to choose Manchester United over any other potential suitors in this transfer window. We all know that he did attract interest from the likes of Arsenal, from the likes of Newcastle, from the likes of Chelsea, as well as Tottenham Hotspur. But he is giving his preference to Man United. And then Newcastle have opened talks with Brighton over the signing of Brazilian forward That's João Pedro, who is 23 years of age, also interested, but are also interested in Sporting Lisbon and Ivory Coast centre back Ousmane Diomande. Now, Ousmane Diomande is also attracting interest from Crystal Palace. Yeah, that's the Ivory Coast centre back. So there you have it. Newcastle are looking for a defender. Although Man City is expected to pursue Tino Livramento from Newcastle, although it may be a bit difficult to pull off, but excuse me, but Man City will continue to explore those possibilities. Then Juventus have offered Sporting Lisbon striker Victor Gyökeres an £11 million year contract as they try to beat Arsenal and Manchester United to a deal for the 27-year Swedish international. That's according to the Mirror, while Tottenham are set to open talks with Stade Rennes over French striker Arnaud Kalimuendo. That's 23 years of age. That's according to L'Equipe in French. Manchester United have held initial talks with Eintracht Frankfurt over the signing of Hugo Ekitike from that side, but no formal bid yet. Again, we spoke about this deal yesterday and as well as in the morning. Then Napoli are aiming to sign either Manchester United and Argentina winger Garnacho or Manchester City and England midfielder Jack Grealish, 29 years of age, but the Italian champions are only willing to spend £45 million. That's according to the Sun. Atletico Madrid will target Aston Villa and French fullback Lucas Digne, 31, if they do not sign Scotland international. That's and Robertson from Liverpool. We did reveal this news to you as well yesterday, and in the morning that Atletico Madrid were interested in signing Andy Robertson from Liverpool. Remember, Liverpool are signing Milos Kakez from AFC Bournemouth, who have already found a replacement for Milos Kakez, and that is Adrian Traffet. Adrian Traffet from Stade Rennes in France. So that deal is also expected to be completed either this week or early next week. Then Chelsea have opened talks with Lyon over Belgium winger Malik Fofana. Again, we've spoken about this deal already. 20, but Nottingham Forest are also interested in the same player. Barcelona and goalkeeper German Marc-Andre ter Stegen has turned down an offer from Turkish champions Galatasaray. We did speak about that deal as well. Remember, Galatasaray first made an attempt to sign Alisson Ramsey-Becker, but Alisson Ramsey-Becker did turn them down, saying he still has 2 years left to his Liverpool contract, which is essentially 1 year contract with an option to have it extended for a further year. And the player does believe that Liverpool will exercise that right to extend it for a further year. Then, so after failing on that, they did move on to Barcelona's Marc-Andre ter Stegen to try and sign the German goalkeeper. Then Athletic Bilbao, Olympique Marseille, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Inter Milan, and Napoli have all shown interest in Al Nassr and Spanish defender Emerick Laporte, 31 years of age, formerly at Manchester City. That is according to AS in Spanish. Now, I'm hesitant to really believe this news regarding involving Arsenal. I do not think Arsenal will be making a move for really Emerick Laporte. I do know that Arsenal are interested in signing Dorel Hato from Ajax, simply because their expectation is that they will be letting go of Alexander Zinchenko, who has only 1 year left for his contract with AC Milan interested, although the players' camp and AC Milan are yet to find common ground in regards to personal terms, but it is expected that Arsenal are willing to receive at least 15 million euros to see the Ukrainian midfielder leave the club after, I think, 4 seasons at the club. Is it 3? I think after 3 seasons, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. There. So that's that. And so I do not think Arsenal really involved, but for Aston Villa, I would really understand. For Inter Milan, yes, I do understand. And Napoli, yes. Atletico Bilbao, yes, those are really offered, are willing to sign him. Then Liverpool have joined Manchester United, Chelsea, and Newcastle in the race to sign Southampton and England winger. That's Tyler Dibling, the 19-year-old. Now, Tyler Dibling very, very talented youngster, by the way, has also attracted interest from Sporting Lisbon in Portugal. Then Real Betis want to enter into a joint ownership agreement with Manchester United for Brazilian winger Anthony, the 25-year-old, that would see the Spanish club buy increasing percentages of his playing rights for next summer. That is according to ABC in Spanish. So that's the latest in regards to some of the transfer speculation in terms of the transfer gossip. Of course, the debate about strikers, that one is not going away. United, Liverpool, Chelsea all pursuing Hugo Ekitike, who is now attracted interest as well from Bayern Munich. Then, of course, Victor Yokeres, Benjamin Sesko, that debate continues in the circles of Arsenal, but nothing has been really made concrete. The conversation around Nico Williams, we'll discuss that and what the odds or the possibility of odds are. Then Paris Saint-Germain have already agreed personal terms with Ilya Zabani, that's the FC Bournemouth defender, on a 5-year contract. They do really want to sign him. However, they are yet to reach to terms on transfer fees with Bournemouth, who value the player at about £59 million. So Bournemouth is another team that we do think whose backline is going to be gutted during the course of this summer. And remember, Manchester United are already being reported that should they fail in their pursuit for Brian Mbeumo, then they will turn their attention to signing Antoine Semenyo from AFC Bournemouth. Then we're talking about Atletico Madrid considering Lucas Digne from Aston Villa and things of that nature. Then yeah, I think that's the gist of the transfer speculation. We are 1 hour and 17 minutes into the broadcast. It's been a pleasure having you guys on today's broadcast. Let's meet once again tomorrow morning for yet another broadcast as I bring you the latest from the world of sport. But also, I want to say thank you to all those that have watched our videos that we did, publish. Today we did premiere a video in regards to why I think Arsenal need to sign two strikers this summer. Those who have watched the video for Manchester United, whose headline is Manchester United, the patient in ICU on the road to recovery. Here is who they must sign this summer. Thank you so much for the love and support. Those that have watched our video on how Liverpool's 150 million euros Fernandez deal could sell the market for others, thank you so much. And those that did watch our video on Benjamin Sesko to Arsenal, why the delay, explaining that conundrum and things of that nature. And thank you so much. Continue showing us the love and support. Go to the channel, check out our videos, check out our shorts section, and watch all that content. But thank you so much for the love and support, Team India, and everybody else that does dedicate the time to watching our content. But before I let you go, guys, I want to remind you that in case you're interested in learning some digital skills like cybersecurity, coding, and web design, please do not hesitate to check out EboState. They are based in Kampala, Uganda. They are based in Kansanga, Kampala, Uganda. They do offer in-person and online training sessions, as well as career guidance to students or to clients interested in learning those very important digital skills. Then, of course, I'll leave their link down in the description for this video so that you guys can check it out for yourselves later. You do qualify for a 5% discount should you go follow through in wanting to sign up with EboState there. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight's broadcast. But before I sign out, once again, I wish to send my shout outs to you, Austin DJ, based in the UK. Thank you so much for the love and support, my brother. Thank you, Hassan Hasnov. Thank you so much, F&Z. Thank you so much, Pro Game. Thank you so much, Bryce C. Thank you so much, Peter Parker, for your contribution towards tonight's conversation and debate. Thank you so much, Danny Berry, Sports Highlights. Thank you so much for the love and support and for dedicating some time to be with us as part of tonight's broadcast. For those that have missed out on tonight's show, but usual suspect, I do think send you love and support, and I do hope that tomorrow you will be able to join us in our subsequent broadcasts, really. But continue checking out more content on the channel. For those of you that watch our live streams after they've streamed later, we do not take your time for granted. We really, really appreciate what you do for us in rendering us your support. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Bye-bye.